Good morning, everyone. This is Jessica Doherty from the ESOL Endorsement Program. As promised, I wanted to reach out to you today with some information about our ESOL online practicum. I hope you're all doing well and ready to start this term. I know there are a lot of uncertainties and this is an unprecedented time, but I'm here to reassure you that those of us on the ESOL team are really committed to helping you have a meaningful experience through this term and a successful experience. And in order to do that, as you know, we all must take care of ourselves, take care of those around us, and in this professional relationship, take care of each other. A lot of communication would be ideal during this time, and know that we want to reach out to you to connect, but also to show care, compassion, and comfort to you as we hope that you do the same in working with us. As again, this is a new experience for all of us, and we truly do want to make it beneficial for you and guide you to a successful completion of this endorsement. A quick note, as you know, at WOU, we refer to the students that we serve as emergent bilinguals. You're also probably aware by now that organizations such as ODE and TSPC refer to our emergent bilinguals as ELs. It's just important for you to be aware of both terms as they are used frequently in all the work that we're doing and will be used in various forms in the materials that you encounter during the term. This article, excuse me while I grab the pointer, this article right here will lead you to Ofelia Garcia's article that describes the term emergent bilingual and the power in that term. And you've read that article before in your coursework, but I offer it to you again as a refresher. So to get us started, ESOL endorsement options have been offered to us by TSPC. You have all received an email from me letting you know that Zig and I are working on figuring out which endorsement option you qualify for. But again, I just wanted to make it really clear what the requirements are so you understand how that decision is being made. And in any case where we need additional information, you're already fully aware because we've been doing this through email, I'll reach out to you to clarify and to make sure we have every bit of information we need to lead you in the right direction this term. So in order to get a certified full ESOL endorsement, just like you would have in a normal term, we are doing that in a couple of ways. So TSPC has recommended or required that if you're to be fully certified, you have to have spent some time in terms 1 and 2 in a placement with emergent bilinguals and an ESOL endorsed clinical teacher. So we're gathering that information and compiling it into a chart. And as I've noted before, we'll be getting back to you to let you know if your experiences in term 1 and 2 fill this requirement. If this requirement is met, then you can complete, in addition to spending some time sheltering instruction or observing sheltered instruction during terms 1 and term 2, then you can complete the online practicum requirements, which will come in a few slides. So once you have met all of the criteria above on this slide successfully, then at the end of the term, we would recommend you for a certified ESOL endorsement. Option 2 is a restricted ESOL endorsement. What that means is your term 1 and 2 experience did not offer you with the opportunity to work with EBs in any way, and nor did you have an ESOL certified clinical teacher. You are still able to complete the online practicum requirements in this case, but in the end, you will be recommended instead for a restricted ESOL endorsement, and then you can convert your restricted endorsement to a regular certified ESOL endorsement by completing some hours in an approved ESOL placement in the summer or fall term. We are also currently working on some situations in which you might be able to obtain the rest of these hours this term during the online practicum. But again, this is where that grace comes into play in that we're putting all the requirements out for you now to fully understand what is happening this term, but also know that we are still in communication every day with TSPC. In fact, I am awaiting some responses from a TSPC official today that will help guide us a little bit further. So if you end up in this situation where you might be pursuing the restricted ESOL endorsement, I'll be working with you one-on-one to make sure that all the requirements are met so you can quickly and easily convert to a certified ESOL endorsement sooner than later. And again, there might be an option to even do that this term as things are unfolding. Option 3 is an incomplete ESOL endorsement. This means that you have not passed your ESOL exam. If you have not passed your ESOL exam, you can still complete the online practicum, following the guidelines for number 1, the certified ESOL endorsement, or number 2, the restricted ESOL endorsement. At the end of the term, upon completing the online practicum, you would have to take an incomplete, of course, until you can pass the exam. Then when you pass the exam, you follow the normal procedures, send your scores to Beth Jones, and as soon as you have done that, we will recommend you for the endorsement that you qualify for, whether it's the certified number 1 or the restricted number 2. So those are your options for the ESOL endorsement. I will be finishing the compilation of the chart with Zig today. As I said, we're waiting for a few answers from TSPC because we're hoping to push a few more of you toward the certified route, but we are awaiting approval for that. And then I will be in touch with you by email to let you know which certification you qualify for and how to proceed. But you all get to take this online practicum, and we will all help you have, like I said, hopefully a very meaningful experience as you move through the practicum. So the next steps for that, as I said, you will be getting some more information by email from Zig and I, and then you can move into the online ESOL practicum. It is my hope to have this on Moodle by the end of the week, but we currently don't have access to a Moodle shell for this practicum. So once we do, everything will be moved to Moodle, but currently you'll have all the information you need on this Google slide, on the following Google slides, and then your practicum supervisors will be emailing you supplemental documents. In addition, all the supplemental documents will eventually go into TK20, where we will keep track of all of the requirements for this online practicum. As you know, Sarah Beard sends out the TK20 binders that you and your supervisors will be using, and those are coming as soon as Sarah has time to finish putting them together. And I like to keep mentioning, everything this term is subject to slight changes, not major changes, but slight changes as we progress through the practicum together. The big thing is that as we move through the first few weeks, we may understand your needs better as far as what works on an online practicum, and so we might shift a few things to make sure that we are accommodating and creating an experience for you that you can really learn from. So we're looking at doing this in 3 blocks. The first block would move you through April 1st through the 12th, where you would be observing some ESOL teaching. This is offering you hopefully an opportunity to see ESOL instruction in action and to gain some experiences to reflect on that process. In addition, you'll be reviewing a new document from ODE and submitting a 3-column chart with some information regarding your analysis of that document. So as you already know from your Zoom meeting with Marie and Mandy, or with Melanie, depending on the program that you're in, your CTs have been notified that it is optional for them to work with you. It is not required for clinical teachers to work with teacher candidates during this online practicum. It's also optional for you if you want to reach out to clinical teachers. But you may contact your clinical teacher or other clinical teachers that you already have a connection with to see if they might be available to support you in any way. One way is that they can open up their virtual class to you so that you can observe during that time, or they can give you opportunities to teach in their virtual classroom setting. Obviously, they can also help guide you in lesson planning or offering you resources. So know that that is an option for you. So in block 1, you are going to review this 29-page guide that ODE sent out to school districts late Monday to assist educators in preparing for distance learning. You'll read through this document and complete a 3-column chart. You'll be looking through the lens of an ESOL educator, and you'll be looking at how and analyzing how these guidelines support emergent bilinguals, set up barriers for emergent bilinguals, and then what tools are they offering for emergent bilingual students to use during this online distance learning. Is there some oracy practice available? Are there assessment tools available, etc.? In addition, you will review the ESOL observation forms to review your memory, to refresh your memory on the components of ESOL lesson planning, instructional methods, etc. You've used these observation forms in 491 and 691 to complete the classroom observation and analysis, so you are already familiar with them. It'll just be a review, and then you will use those when you are watching the videos. You do not necessarily need to grade the videos with the 1 through 5 numbering system. It's more of a checklist so that you can look to see what components from the observation forms are playing out in the observations you're watching. So you have two options for the observations. One is you will use videos. The next is that you will observe an ESOL endorsed clinical teacher virtually in their distance learning scenario. So I will give you an opportunity to read through these slides completely, but we have some full lesson options and some short lesson options. So if you go the video route, you will select 1 full lesson and 2 short lessons from the video list. If you find some videos of your own that you would like to use, please send them to your supervisor for approval, and then you can use those as well. In addition, after you take notes while you're observing in those videos or the distance learning opportunities, you will complete a journal entry that lists I notice, I wonder, and I think. And there are some suggestions for what you would be looking for to complete in that journal entry. But mostly we want to give you an opportunity to think about how you would be dialoguing with a clinical teacher after an observation, because that's such a powerful piece of the practicum. As you know from your clinical experience in terms 1 and term 2, that dialogue about why they're doing certain things in a way that they are, or how they've grouped students, just any decisions they've made and the rationale behind it is a great way to increase dialogue. So you're going to do that through a journal entry and some communication with your supervisor. Here are a list of a few full lesson videos that you can choose and the short lesson videos. In block 2, this will be your unit development. As I understand, for your initial licensure program, you will be completing a pretty large unit. So we are hoping that you will use a section of that unit. As it says right here, these lessons may come from the unit you are designing for your Gen Ed requirements. So you may use those lessons to develop a 3 to 5 lesson unit of instruction that will be embedded in your ESOL Practicum project. These lessons will all use the ESOL lesson plan template so that you can show your use of sheltered instruction in content, scaffolding content, your infusion of language instruction alongside content area instruction, and developing assessments for both content and language. Additionally, you'll use the lessons to record yourself teaching at least 3 of these lessons. You can teach these lessons to a hypothetical class, and we have some options in the next slides, or a class that is meeting virtually. And then you will use your observational notes from the video lessons, your journal entries and responses from your supervisor to guide your unit design and your instructional choices. The due dates are as followed. You'll turn in an outline by April 19th. You'll email that to your supervisor unless they would prefer you to send it to them through Google Docs or another format. And then this outlines everything that should be in that assignment submission. Number 2, you will complete a draft of your lessons and submit those again to your ESOL supervisor for review. And then if you're going to teach that to a hypothetical class, you will just video record yourself with all of your materials prepared and behind you or next to you, and you will actually teach as though you were teaching to this hypothetical class scenario. This is class B, so there are 2 hypothetical class scenarios. If you have another option you would like to work with, please reach out to your supervisor to design that hypothetical situation. But again, note that this is not going to be a situation where you just record yourself talking about your lesson. You are actually going to implement the strategies and activities that you have prepared to a hypothetical audience so that supervisors can view your teaching in action. Block 3 is what I just described, is your lesson delivery.